Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Have you ever logged on to your favorite social media app and felt like every single post was designed just for you, confirming exactly what you already believe? Or maybe you have worried that seeing the same viewpoint over and over is pushing us all further apart. It is a common fear, but the science behind it is surprisingly messy. Today we are looking at a fascinating new study that decided to strip away all the noisy distractions of the internet to answer one simple question. Does being fed information that matches your views actually make you more polarized? And can being exposed to the other side help fix it? To figure this out, researchers in Germany set up a neat experiment. They did not want to deal with the chaos of actual social media, where algorithms are constantly changing and people are choosing what to click on because that introduces too many outside factors. Instead, they took 756 people and had them read a controlled set of statements about a specific policy, which was the unconditional basic income. Think of this like a lab-grown version of a filter bubble. Some participants were fed only things that supported their existing stance, others were fed only things that challenged their views, and a third group acted as our neutral control, seeing a mix of balanced facts. These researchers were interested in two main types of polarization. First, there is issue polarization, which is just about how extreme your view is on the topic. Is your opinion moving toward the fringes? Second, they looked at affective polarization. This is not about the policy itself, but about how you feel toward the people on the other side. Do you like your own group more? Do you dislike the other group more? They were careful to measure the positive and negative feelings separately. Because as it turns out, liking your own team and hating the other team are not exactly two sides of the same coin. The results were quite revealing. When people were fed a steady diet of information that matched their existing beliefs, they became more extreme in their views, and their feelings toward the other camp turned colder. It is almost like a feedback loop. When you only see content that validates your identity, you become more attached to your own side and more bothered by the people who disagree with you. But here is where it gets interesting, especially when we look at that other group who had to read information that went against their grain. This is the big takeaway. When people read things that challenge their views, they did actually move back toward the center on the issue itself, and they felt a little less biased toward their own group. But, and this is a really important beauty, did not really fix the negative feelings toward the opposing group. They were still not keen on the people on the other side, even if they were forced to admit that maybe the policy itself had some points. So, what does this actually mean for us on a daily basis? Well, it suggests that the things we see online are not just background noise. They are actively shaping how we see our political neighbors. The study suggests that if you are only seeing things you like, you are effectively being pushed into a corner of the playground where you start to dislike the kids in the other corner just for being there. On the flip side, seeing opposing viewpoints can soften your stance, but it does not magically make everyone friends. It takes the edge off the intensity, but the underlying emotional distance stays put. Now, this study had some clever additions. They wanted to know if certain personality types would be more resistant to these effects. They tested for intellectual humility, which is basically the ability to admit when you might be wrong, and the need for cognitive closure, which is how much you hate uncertainty. Surprisingly, being intellectually humble did not automatically save people from becoming polarized. In fact, people who scored high on these personality traits still got polarized by the information they were given. The researchers think this might be because of a bias blind spot, where we all think we are more open-minded than we actually are. It is much easier to say you are humble than to actually change your mind in the heat of a political argument. So, how do we evaluate this? The biggest strength here is the control. By making everyone read exactly the same set of statements, the scientists created a cleaner picture than we could ever get from analyzing a messy Twitter feed. But we have to remember the limitations. This was a one-time experiment using one specific policy. We do not know if these results would hold up if we were talking about more heated or long-standing political debates. Plus, real life is not made of 30 isolated statements. It is made of videos, memes, and social pressure from our actual friends and family. My big takeaway is that we should stop thinking of polarization as just a problem with the internet. It is a problem with the human brain. We are wired to feel good when we are right, and to feel threatened when someone says we are wrong. This research confirms that curating a balanced digital diet can help keep our views from spiraling into extremes. But it will not instantly bridge the emotional divide we feel toward people we disagree with. I would love to see future research look at whether repeat exposure over a long time actually changes these deep-seated feelings, or if we are just stuck with them to some extent. In the meantime, maybe the next time you feel that surge of frustration at someone's post, try to remember that your brain is just doing what it was evolved to do. Take a breath, look for a new perspective. and maybe we can stay a little closer to the center together. If this deep dive helped you clear up some questions about why the internet feels so angry all the time, do me a favor and hit the like button. Do you think we can actually change how polarized we are, or is it just the default state of the modern world? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoy digging into the psychology of how we live, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a trip to the Mind Lab. Stay curious, everyone!